This is the life in Kotto village by night. Darkness has engulfed the entire village. Its people have become used to it, moving from one end of the village to the other for different purposes. Other lighting devices are employed by villagers for commercial activities. The Emilienne is using a solar lamp as she roasts fish to sell to customers. Mondo Delphine, like Emilienne, serves her customers in the cafeteria with the aid of a solar lamp. Other commercial activities are undertaken with other light sources such as bush lamps and candles. Having been working in the village for months now, Soneji promised lighting up the village with electricity using solar energy by September 28, 2017. Here we are in Kotto 1 on September 28. The more than 3,500 souls living in the village impatiently anticipate a new dawn in their lives. From our observation, the powerhouse to supply households with electricity the next day is ready.
We would say, as it stands right now inside the powerhouse, everything is ready to go. And in a couple of minutes, we shall be switching on lights on both sides of the village. We have a good segmentation system that we have done at the village for the grid, that we run them on two separate, we would actually call it like two separate power plants. Meaning one side of the grid runs on its own system and the other side of the village runs on a separate system. Meaning we cannot have a complete blackout.
The powerhouse is fed with energy captured by 350 mounted solar panels with an energy production capacity of 600 kilowatts per hour.
We have 372 panels, all in the tied up in the string of 6/6, meaning we have 62 strings of 6/6 panels each. They are all linked up into the powerhouse, into the inverter system. We have the 4 cabinets there that they've been divided into 2 separate power plants based on our grid structure. We would say it's one of the first off-grid system rated at this high. We are capable of producing 680 kilowatt hour. We have almost about 529 or 30 households, and we are capable of supplying them with enough electricity. We have done the test and it's working perfectly.
To ensure that the technical system comprising connections and equipment work out well and supply the village without hitches, an engineer is brought in all the way from Poland to check and correct the entire process.
I checked all the systems that are ready to go and to supply the village to the power. And also we checked the charging the batteries and solar chargers. That's what we have here. We have here inverter systems, solar systems, and also the batteries. We checked all these parts of the installation. We checked also the power, also the houses installations and the grid. So now we are sure to give the village the power.
On the side to Kotto 1, women in the village are brought together and given special lectures on how to use home electrical appliances to help reduce their burden.
If you wash, don't want to do the pan, do the spoon. If you wash and set, even amongst your spoons, you wash them. But this, for years, I have an engine there. So if you soak inside water, it will spoil. When I see this place,
today at Kotto village, I was actually teaching the women how to use household electrical appliances. With these appliances, the woman's work in the house will be reduced. I was actually teaching them how to use an electric stove cooker. I was actually teaching them how to use a kettle boiler, and I was teaching them how to use a fruit blender. With all this, the work of the woman in the house is greatly reduced, because we have seen that women in Africa, women especially in rural areas, are spending a lot of time in the kitchen. So with these household electrical appliances, this will give women some time to rest and to take care of their kids.
As the day passes by, inhabitants of the village are anxious to see the synergy magic come true. Even as these technicians make their last-minute connections, they are closely followed and watched by villagers, all wishing that all works out well. As we go around the village this evening, people are spotted in small gatherings, pondering and discussing about the advent of the Promised Light project. September 29, 2017. The population of Kotto 1 is gathered in front of the powerhouse complex led by the traditional ruler of the village for the official opening. The symbolic ribbon is cut by His Royal Majesty, Emmanuel Iyoke, who used the opportunity to celebrate the feat by synergy.
Sun Energy oye! Kotto oye! Prof oye! Prof oye! It is not easy. So we should respect Prof and the Sun Energy elements who are here. And you please respect that light. And respect yourself to pay your bills.
Yeah! Synergy came and said, let there be light. Synergy came and said, let's give them light. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody should sing this. Bomboko, rejoice, now you have light. Bomboko, rejoice, now you have light. Bomboko, rejoice, now you have
The realization of this project in the heart of the African rainforest on the slopes of Mount Cameroon is a big achievement for the project initiators, because it will go a long way to better the living conditions of the people of Kotto 1, who will now be able to use electricity, access internet and cable television, as well as microfinance services. Kotto 1 now has electricity, and the people are truly happy, hoping that their living conditions are improved upon with the coming of electricity.
All this time as they work will be there still for doubt, but today a surprise for see the lights it come on. So I be very happy for see say my village Kotto it don't get light. I know say many things and where they be there for town, they go be too for my village.
Never experienced, say, before this time, I will see light for the village where they stay in Kotto Bomboko. But I surprised, say, Sun Energy don't bring away light for Kotto Bomboko. And they look at like, say, it be needless for even Pekin, for even me, I will Pekin where I born am. For Kumaya say they go town, because most of the Pekin, they go town, so they want to go see light. But all the things where they do for town, now you will go enjoy and do for here.
However, the project owners are already turning their focus to other enclave communities to engage the same process.
We are satisfied with what we are achieving here, but you know, there is so much more to be done. Only in Cameroon there are 10,000 villages without access to electricity. And sub-Sahara Africa, there are 800 million people without access to electricity. And on the global scale, it is 1.5 billion. So we should not rest.